I have 7:01. We'll call the meeting to order. Yep. Previous minutes. I told you that one correction, and I believe Gary Denton has been in touch with another correction. Yep. Has everybody else had time to read the minutes, and did you see any other corrections?
Do you have a copy of the minutes?
I have them online.
There's one hanging on the thingy.
They're reported.
What was your correction, Josh?
I had your last name changed from Goss to Gates. And Gary Denton's correction was it was put in the minutes as 6 feet of correction for Phil, and it was supposed to be 6 inches.
Oh, yeah,
You know, top coat.
okay.
And there might be some gaps in those minutes because people are talking too loud and making noise. Press is off and making noise.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of gaps in what I said because I couldn't make it.
Right, because we didn't.
Too fast.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have to make the correction from here on out to just have Mac step up to the mic so he's clearer, and any other, sorry Mac, any other visitors,
dance.
make sure they step up to the mic so that they're clear.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the previous minutes with the corrections.
I will second that motion.
And you, sir, are abstaining?
I am abstaining.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are carried. Warrants will be passed around. I don't know if you want to start them on that end and we can come down through. In looking at the warrants, at our last meeting, we approved Vera for 2 days, 2 8-hour days. It's been brought to my attention that she has worked tirelessly to get everything in her power corrected up to this point. And I have her log here. It's also in the warrant. And I'm going to make a motion that we pay the remaining hours at the agreed upon hourly rate to Vera for the work that she has done.
I will second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So I don't
Thank
know,
you.
Kathy, can we adjust the warrant so that it gets paid off this warrant before?
No, don't make the change.
Don't change, okay,
You wait.
okay,
There's no sense changing it.
okay.
That is fine. No, just leave it, that's fine. Next time around, it's fine.
Okay. Tammy, can you make a note of that?
Thank you.
So Jason did come and close out.
Jason
Abby?
did come and close out.
Must be just Abby.
Kathy, do you have
That's correct.
a report on what he completed?
He did January and February, I'll add before,
Just
Okay.
Abby, right?
yeah.
January and February took 2 days, correct? To complete?
He was here Wednesday and Thursday, 8 to noon, or slightly thereafter.
Okay,
I don't know how much longer after I left that
okay.
he was here.
I don't know.
I don't think it was pretty long.
So I'm not
No, it was
sure,
he only had 8
8 hours total?
and a
Okay.
half.
So, we have, I guess I can skip down to that part real quick also. Joy Doan has, volunteered to, help Jason with the, not volunteered.
Volunteered means you don't get
Right, she has put her name in, offered to be appointed as the temporary auditor to work with Jason to audit the books from March to present. And then again in January for close of the year. At this point, if, Lance, would you like to make, or I guess I can. I would like to make a motion that we appoint Joy Doan as interim auditor to help Jason for the rest of the year.
I will second that as well.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Does anyone know what the late penalties for payroll deductions?
I
What that
don't-
is?
Oh,
I have
the,
not gotten into that enough yet. I know that we are late on some tax payments and federal.
so I apologize for skipping over you, Vera.
No,
You,
that's fine.
you, you're next on the list.
You want me now?
Um,
I've been told, what?
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. We,
I've been told I have to sit.
you have to sit in the hot seat, and I think
The
if we,
chair of Inquisition.
can we spin this mic right here around, so, and give it to Vera? Oh, there's one over there already?
It's
Oh,
on the camera.
see, I'm super techie when it comes to that stuff, so.
Audrey wasn't in a few days last week, but she came in Friday to sign the cemetery warrant, or to, not sign warrant, to do the check, because the warrant had been signed. So I did reports for you. I do not know what you were used to getting, and I know they are different, because I didn't take it off the QuickBooks, I did it on spreadsheets. And so I have account balances. I have road expenses, winter work, dirt work, which Josh had asked about. Road expenses, and general fund expenses. They are from spreadsheets, so they are different than probably what you're used to.
Oops, thank
You'll
you.
have to let me know what you do want, for reports from this point on. And this is for Gary, if he shows up.
Thank you.
And you went back, and reconciled from the first of the year, but
January 1.
January 1.
Everything on that report has been straight from the warrants. It has been double checked. I'm hoping it's right. Because I did, I double checked it all. There were budgeted amounts in the town report. I used those for the town.
Okay,
I don't know if you've changed it since then, but that's what I had to work with.
okay.
If anything needs to be changed, or if you have any questions, please let me know. QuickBooks hasn't been audited, for the rest of the time frame. I didn't know. I decided to let Jason do that. I wasn't gonna go in and change things. The one things I did change is Audrey asked me on Tuesday last week to help her reconcile the library, town, and the road, because those are the ones on QuickBooks. Well, actually, it was the town and road. It took me some time, but by Friday morning at some point, can't remember when I get done, everything was reconciled. I did have to make some changes, and the only changes I made were the ones that would match the bank statements, so that I could balance to Kathy's bank statements. So the report you have that shows what's in the bank, that should be correct as of the end of September. And yeah, all the expenses should be there. There's still stuff I need to do. The spreadsheet I did, I only have the expenses, I haven't made it to the question list.
Yes, if I may. Gravel pit expenses, it shows all interest. There's no
Yeah,
principal.
receipts.
Gravel pit payments on bills, or on the debit side. It shows gravel pit interest 40,000, gravel pit principal nothing.
Oh, because I didn't have that breakdown and it wasn't on the bank. I need to,
Okay.
that's something I need to check, sorry.
Okay, but the total,
Nevertheless.
nevertheless, the total was 40,000.
You paid 20 twice, I believe, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And yes, it needs a breakdown, and it used to be on the bank account. When I went on there, it would show me what went to what, because usually they didn't tell me when I got the bill.
Uh-huh.
But it was not on there, so that's something I will have to get, and.
Okay, no biggie.
I don't have a pen, I need to, bring a pen to the notes. Thank you, Kathy. I still have work to do. I haven't done receipts for the town of the road on those predictions yet. I got the library done so they know where they stand. I got that done for them. QuickBook, hopefully, I am picking up on that fairly quickly. Thank you, Frankie. And then I went on last week, or not last week, before last, and I did the warrants except for the accounts payable. Some of those I didn't really do, the ACH ones. So I'm able to go on there and do stuff. I'm still trying to find the reports, you know, when I want to print and stuff, but it's working out fine. I'll get to it. Once they have audited, hopefully they'll have something for me. I'm sure I can print out what they need, or Jason can, because Jason has QuickBooks. And if they go on and say, well, this was coded to this, but it should be this, I should be able to really change it at that point.
Okay.
But right now, I didn't want to touch anything other than reconciling with Kathy. I've caught up a fair share of the spreadsheets that were not yet. I have a couple that I'm having trouble balancing, and it might just be that it's been a long couple of weeks. Let's put it that way. There was one of the warrants that we were looking at, the equipment repair fund. Warrant number 9, 2021 was paid out of the road account. So after they audit, we can give the money back to the road account.
Okay.
It will be taken care of after the audit. My biggest issue right now is federal, Social Security, Medicare, and state taxes. We owe, I went through a lot of work doing this because I put in everything that we were supposed to pay, everything that I saw in the bank statements that we did pay, and then I went to the form from the IRS, the PFTPS, to find out what actually was paid as well. The road owes from July 26th. They owe $1,298.97. The town owes for April of 26, $1,311.40.
So April, that means we haven't made a single,
No, that's one payroll. That amount wasn't paid.
oh, okay.
We also owe, town also owes for July 26, $63. It was a change on the warrant that didn't get followed through. I was gonna have Audrey pay those today, but seeing how Audrey was out sick, I think that I'm just gonna go in tomorrow and I'm gonna get those paid because they are way overdue. And I'm going to do the 941 because those need to be done, but I need to pay that first. I've started the 941s. She didn't do the end of June. The end of September is due at the end of this week. So I'm going to get both of them done and in the mail, but I need to get those, I'll put those in. When you go into EFTPS, you can pick the quarter you're paying for, so I can put it on the correct quarter, but it's still going to be late.
Now, are we gonna incur late fees on that stuff also?
You're going to have late fees and penalties. The library, the quarter had not been done for the end of June, plus the end of September needs to be done. Nothing was paid in for those because with the library, because they're under $2,500, you pay it at the end of the quarter. So I've done those warrants and I've given them to the library. I haven't gotten them back. I have the 941s filled out waiting for the warrants to be signed so we can do checks to send with it, because that's how you do those. The state is off. The road account paid too much. The town has, after May 10th, nothing was paid for the town, all of our town warrants. And when I did October, I paid October 12th month off because I did that myself. So I need to reconcile with the state, but I need to know, I may need to call them and find out actually what was paid. And even though it was paid out of, too much was paid out of one and not enough the other, because it's under the same tax ID number, I believe I could just pay the difference and be okay because it's under the same tax ID number. We just take it out of the accounts we're supposed to. So I need to get those done. I need to get the 941s done. Unemployment, I don't believe that's been done for the 2 quarters. Second quarter wasn't done, I don't believe. I've talked to Abby, I'm pretty sure she did the first quarter, 941 and 941. Those I need to do, and those are my priority. Tomorrow morning, after I get done with warrants, because that's the priority tomorrow, I'll start on that and get the 941s done, get the payments made, so I can log in and do that. I'm trying very hard
Oh, I know you are.
Yeah.
to get things done and correct and done right. Do you have any questions?
How long will it take you to do the warrants tomorrow? I mean, you'll be done by 9? You're usually done by 9, 10 o'clock?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Could I come up and ask a few questions about this tomorrow?
You certainly can.
I'll be up here then.
Okay. I didn't see the warrant, I don't know how many bills are on it. It usually only takes me 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, depending on how many bills are on it. Working on that system, it seems fairly simple, so it shouldn't, even though I haven't used it that much, it shouldn't take that long.
Okay.
And then I have to make sure I go online and do the payments for the American funds and federal and state. That has to be done.
Stuff like this.
Well, we appreciate you coming forward and helping us out.
Okay.
I will try and find out, I did
That's
pick
really-
up the town hall.
Just a few.
Town hall, and I separated that, because I had paperwork for it, and I'll try and find out on the gravel pit loan. I may have to call the bank and find out how much.
It was paid. I'm more curious than anything else to
Well, yeah,
find
it
out.
should be in the correct column. I usually highlight it with yellow, but that one, for some reason, I was putting them in and forgot. But I will have to call the bank probably, because I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay.
This gives us an idea of where we're at, which is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you very much.
What do you want for reports in the future?
This-
I don't know what, I've been on for almost 4 years. I don't know what you're getting recently that you prefer to have.
When you say recently, do you mean this year?
Let's start with this,
Okay.
and as we have questions, we can add or delete.
Yeah, because
Okay,
I don't believe we haven't moved any monies from, and I believe that's what you were referring to. You went off of what was voted in at town meeting day for your budgets.
She has
Like the
to-
dirt work 170,
Well, yeah, we have to look back, well, is it, which one is it?
or sorry, winter work, I'm sorry.
Is 170?
Yes.
Okay, yes, it was 300,000, I had to ask somebody to find out which was which. And then every warrant that said winter work is on one side, and every one that said dirt work is on the other, and it gives you a balance left.
Okay,
I only asked about wondering what we had left in that.
Yes.
So I made sure I got that one done.
yeah, and this is exactly what I was looking for was, what we budgeted, what we've spent, what's left in each section. I mean,
I will
This-
probably continue to do this until I know that QuickBooks matches what I have here.
okay,
It doesn't take long to throw in another warrant and just break it down and it all adds in. So you might get this for a little while until I'm comfortable
Mhm.
with what's there. I just want to make sure when I give you a report, it was as
Mhm.
correct as possible.
yeah, and the one that we used to get was, last year, was very similar to this. And this is exactly what we're looking for.
And it probably came from QuickBooks.
Right, yep,
I did find the report, finally, I believe, I have copies of things where I printed stuff out so I know the name of the report, and I did find one that had the spent to date and the budget amount,
yep.
but I'm not sure if the budgeted things were all in there. Some things get changed in QuickBooks, so it's not figuring payroll taxes anymore, so I'm not sure what happened in
Okay.
QuickBooks. So, like I said, if everything gets corrected in QuickBooks, if there's anything wrong, I will try and match it to mine, and if I can get it to match, then you can get the report that you normally get. But for now, that
This is,
should serve the purpose.
This is
But
excellent,
If there's anything
yes.
else you want,
Yep. Although we haven't done any setup yet for the ARPA funds and being able to disperse from them, at some point in time, we'll have a column for the ARPA funds in here.
yes.
Absolutely. The same for the Brigham grants.
Yep.
Yes, I didn't get that in there, I haven't seen that yet, and you're right, I need to put that on there. It's,
Okay, it's not going anywhere.
We haven't got the money yet, so.
You haven't gotten any money yet?
ARPA has,
funds we
Brigham
do.
hasn't got any
Brigham
money.
hasn't
I'm
got their
correct,
grant
sorry.
yet.
So, yes, I mean, I have a little more time and can get the rest of the things on there, I will.
Okay, I don't wanna speak out of turn, but I would say, that the breakdown of your hours that you gave us, I feel comfortable saying, just turn in your hours, all of them. We weren't aware of how much, I wasn't aware of how much work needed to be done and how much time that was gonna take. So that was kind of like our, let's throw out a number, see what we can do in that time, but the amount of work you're doing and what you're doing to help the town is worth everything you're doing and more.
Yeah, it's clearly
So-
underestimated.
Yeah, absolutely. So
We'll have to make a new motion on it, though.
we will, and I think we can do that today.
Okay.
Yeah,
I spoke with Jason last week, well, partly about the bill and stuff, and he said just pay it and send him 941s and get sheets and stuff. But knowing that I didn't have spreadsheets that were up to date, he said to call him when I have it done, and he'll come after that, because it needs to be up to date.
okay.
I'll try and, if I don't get it done this week, I have an appointment on Wednesday, I probably won't be in, but if I don't get it done during the week, I'll go on the weekend, just get stuff caught up so that he doesn't have to wait too long into the month of November to come. I'll do my best, I still have stuff to do, so.
Yeah,
We also made arrangements for me to sign warrants, should that need be done tomorrow morning.
for which
Oh,
one?
checks, you mean?
Oh, checks, excuse me, checks.
Checks, yeah.
Yes, like I said, Audrey called in today and said she was sick, so she didn't come in, so I don't know if she'll be in tomorrow or not. I did leave her a message and said I was sorry she was sick and not, not to worry about coming in today, but maybe come tomorrow. The other thing that is something that I really need to work on is balancing property taxes. Not being here doing it, it might be a little more difficult, and I don't know what will happen there, but I will try my best. I know there are payments that need to go, overpayments need to be returned. I have some new homestead declarations that were filed, and Susansky gave me the list and the bills. I didn't think it was gonna get done for tonight, so it's set aside for now, but I'll try and have it ready for the next board meeting.
Okay.
But I gotta prioritize.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you're saying, so
Not gonna be
if
fixed
Audrey
overnight.
doesn't come in
Yeah, that's why-
tomorrow,
that's
you
why
are
I-
the second person on the.
That's why I signed
Yep,
on those cards.
okay.
So,
Yep.
there's no more questions?
I don't have any, just another thank you for everything you're doing.
You're welcome. I'm trying my best.
It's 100% better, thank you.
Kathy?
welcome.
You gonna make a motion?
Kathy?
Yes,
We'll make a motion to lift the time limits on Vera's work to be done on straightening out the accounts for the town of Bakersfield.
I would second that motion.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank you. I know the hours I did not put in, but that's fine. Yeah, okay. Have a nice evening.
You too, Vera, thank you.
Vera.
All right. We have, next on the list is our treasurer candidates. As you can see, I
Yeah,
had enough time
I'm
to.
gonna, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to address why Maria DeRosa isn't here. It is her birthday. I made some assumptions when I talked to her and said, come in for the select board meeting,
Okay,
and I didn't confirm time or date with her,
okay,
but she did tell me she was having a birthday party.
okay,
She is at her birthday party.
all right. With that,
I would, with that consideration, I certainly would, we can discuss her resume,
okay,
without her here, but obviously we can't question her.
right, right.
We don't have that opportunity.
So I will pass that,
Yep.
so that can be looked at. And we also have
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
She's a COVID. Get out of here, you.
Dusty building,
Are you sure that's for us?
dusty building.
This is a letter of gratitude. Is long overdue. I apologize. I have had health issues. I wish to thank you for welcoming me and my friend Diana Capsey to your board meeting on Monday, September 13th, 2021. We appreciate your welcome and information regarding the hopeful plans of the historic building of Brigham Academy. We would like to visit the topic again if we may and have a healthy and safe fall and winter. Thank you again. Most sincerely, Bernadette Rose Early. Yep. Nice.
Very nice. All right, so, do we have Suzanne's,
Did we get an updated resume from you?
oh, you got it right there.
There's it.
Excellent.
Look at that. She's all ready.
I was looking to see, I was like, it should be here in the paperwork somewhere, but
Pull a chair out. You have that now.
Take one and pass it on.
excellent.
There you go. It's like being at school.
You handed her the card.
I don't have a ruler, so I won't slap knuckles.
Yeah, they don't let us do that anymore. All right. Thank you, Kathy.
Night, Kathy.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, is there a pile for Denton?
There,
Those are fine.
we started
I
one, but
thought there were five select.
there is.
Okay.
There is,
Gary's,
but we
Gary's
don't.
absent today. All right. So, this is the third time you've been here, I believe?
Yeah, plus running last March.
Right, right. As you know, we're looking for an interim treasurer to fill out this term. We have two candidates, as you just heard. I know we've asked you questions in the past, and I've been pretty happy with your answers. Does anybody else on the board have questions?
You heard Vera talk about all the issues and problems that we had and the work that she's going through and straightening them out right now. She also had a good amount of time at that job.
Yes.
And
Was she treasurer for 3 years or longer?
Oh,
Vera? More like 20.
Wow, okay, that's so.
31?
yeah.
She's only been gone for
Just
3 to
3
4.
years that added,
Yeah.
okay.
And I just, knowing that we're right now having probably a holiday.
Crisis mode.
Yeah, crisis mode. She's able to get a handle on this, and with Jason is gonna have us caught up and everything. What she'll be handed probably is a up and running system if we select you as candidate. We talked about this before. There's really no training with this job. It's a come in and away it goes type job.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just, the concern that I have, Susan, is that the systems that we're using right now aren't all that intuitive. I mean, I've used them, and it took me 6 months to grasp, but I couldn't.
Okay.
And it was hard for me because I'm not a math person, nor was I a process and accounting person either. I want you to know that this is not an easy job, and we can't afford to do what we just did.
Right. Now, will Vera provide like a modicum of,
So Vera has, in questioning her, when we talked about it at the last meeting, I said she would train the next person, and she informed me that I did not speak correctly. Training is, I would not say is what she's looking to do.
okay,
She would be there for questions.
okay,
But she has expressed that she had this job and she's not interested in coming back in and redoing it. in talking with her, she said realistically, this job requires almost a year's worth of training
Okay,
that is not actually out there.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the first year is training. The first year is, well, as we've seen, trial by fire. And those are her words. I told her right up front, I was like, I'm a forestry guy. When you speak accounting stuff, I said, you might as well be speaking Greek because,
There's 3 forestry guys here.
Yeah.
so you know.
and I was like, I trust Vera. I mean, 30 years in the job and she knows what she's doing. And I just, it's not an easy job. And I see that now with the amount of time and effort she's had to put in to fix what's happened in the past 6 months. 7.
Now, I remember from one of the select board meetings, and I think it was you, no, correct me if I'm wrong, that Abby would not be a resource at all. Is that changed if I or the other person come in? Would Abby be a resource?
I am sure that if you called Abby with an emergency, she would do her best to answer a question over the phone.
Okay, yeah, so the same
I
as with Vera.
doubt that she would come here.
No, and that's, I get that, because
Yeah.
just the fact she is out of the job, but she would be a resource to reach out to.
Well, she's
Possibly.
possibly, she's no longer a town resident
Right,
and.
that was the main reason
yeah,
asking is.
Yeah, and she's offered to answer things over the phone, but yeah, coming in and she is working a full-time job now too, so.
Okay.
As,
Well,
So-
we might be able to find another town clerk that would be willing, or town treasurer that'd be willing to have you come and sit
Yeah, and I'd be more
with
than
them,
willing.
maybe
more
get
than
some
willing.
training from another
Yeah,
town
Yeah.
treasurer
which are all things that we've offered
before.
before that, you know, maybe would have helped. It's hard to tell at this point, but, if you are, because at this point it would be an appointed position. If you are appointed, then that would be, you know, we would offer you all the training that we can possibly
Yeah.
offer you. But at this point, yeah.
What do you have for, what did you do for accounting work?
when I was with Kleinfelder, I helped with the budgets, worked with a little bit of payroll when they needed help. They would call, usually it was me because I'd had accounting, automated accounting in business school. As far as actually working somewhere and doing books, no, I don't have that experience.
Okay.
I'm very computer literate, going back to 1985, 86. Big floppies, having to change out a wheel on the printer. So my computer experience goes back quite far.
Okay.
You left Kleinfelder in '89, so it's been a while.
89 for Kleinfelder, 95 for Jones and Stokes, or 96, 97, somewhere in there.
2005 is what you got here.
Yeah. Everything goes according to when I met my husband. It's like, that's the date, that kind of. Yeah, they were going through changes with the company. It was an environmental firm. They were looking to be bought out by a big firm and didn't want to be part of that. It was an employee-owned company, and if you've ever worked for an employee-owned company, it's awesome. And it wasn't going to be an employee-owned company anymore. And my husband was a computer programmer at the time, so it left me with options. I took some classes, we worked on our tie-dye business, and then when we moved here in 2005, and that's when I got sick and ended up on dialysis. That was my break there, was dialysis and then the transplant.
So when you say you did budget, did you build budgets or
Yes.
you built budgets?
Yeah. Both companies were multi-million-dollar companies. Kleinfelder at that time had like 50 offices. Jones and Stokes, I don't know anymore because they were bought out, so who knows what happened with their offices. And worked with proposals, that kind of stuff. Keeping the books for our little business. It's not a huge business, basically. We call it our heat money for the winter.
Oh, your tie-dye.
All right. And, I mean, obviously, we need to meet with the other candidate also,
Correct.
but,
Yes.
um,
Just curious if you don't want either person, is Vera gonna stay on, or are you basically in a, this has to happen situation?
Can I
If
answer
you
that,
don't-
Josh?
sure.
I don't think we know.
Yeah, what we've got here is a situation that many towns are anticipating, because to go to an elected person within the town gives us a very small talent pool. What I found out through talking to other town clerks and some other folks is that they have worked to change it to a hired position, which allows us to go outside of the town.
Ah,
We still have to run an election,
okay,
and we have to put that on the town warning as well,
Okay.
if we decide to go that way, and we haven't yet. But one of the things that we can't tell you is this is a forever job.
no,
We know that it would run through March for
March.
whoever's hired in the interim.
Yeah.
And after that, it's up to the voters.
yeah. Exactly.
Does that sound pretty fair?
That sounds fair. And just a clarifying question, I mean, this is probably obvious, but I do need to ask. Would you be planning on running for this position again in March?
Yes.
Okay. That would be a deciding factor, sorry. Any other questions from the board? No?
Obviously, you're
I'm just looking at my.
you're able to start when we need you, or do you have a
Yeah.
time for?
I'm still gonna stay at Brandon's because I'm only about 18 to 20 hours, and that's in the evenings. Yeah, that's
gotcha.
not a problem.
And are you familiar with the job description on?
Abby and I had gone over everything. I met with her
Okay,
tail end of January, and I think the day I met with her was the day she also found out Audrey was running. Because she had said if it was only one person running, that she would have started training that person in February, and they would have been ready to go.
okay. So there is and I believe this is the website, Vermont League of Cities and Towns.
Okay,
And it's chapter 32, treasurer.
okay.
Yes.
It gives a very detailed description of what the roles and responsibilities are. I would recommend
Okay,
looking that over and making sure that, you know, you're comfortable with everything there, because there is some legalities in there,
I'm a registered voter.
right?
I have not missed an election. So. And a resident, even though mailing address is Enosburg,
Right.
house is in Bakersfield.
Right?
Did you say you did have experience with the QuickBooks?
Yes,
Okay.
it's probably been about 4 or 5 years.
At some point, I just wanted to read that clause about whether the appointed one had to be in town or not.
Appointed can be out of town. Elected has to be in town.
But not for the term of the elected person. They actually have to be in town.
To fill this position.
Fill-
No, no, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking if we go to appointed.
Yeah.
If we vote an election,
But we have to
this
vote
position we're
to go to
filling right now
appointed
has to be
first.
someone from Bakersfield.
Yes.
That's what I was checking out.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
All right, if nobody else has any more questions, I think.
Because we're only appointing to finish out a term.
Right.
Right, interim, yep. If nobody else has any more questions, I think we're all set. Do you have any
No.
questions for us?
No?
Okay. All right,
Okay. great.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
And
Around?
can we reach out to the other candidate and see if we can set?
Already did.
And when do they have available?
Do you want to do that prior to the next meeting on the 8th of November?
I would like to do it before the next meeting, yes. Okay.
What is that?
Meeting with the other candidate before the next meeting,
Who was the other candidate?
Mariah DeRosa.
Maria DeRosa.
Maria DeRosa.
Used to be, I can't remember
Oh,
what it was.
Maria.
Maria,
That's it.
Oh.
yep. Will we have to do a warrant? Yeah, we will have to
Well,
warrant it,
well, if we
yes.
do a special meeting to do it.
Special meeting and a warning.
Right. Yeah, it will definitely have to be another warranted meeting. It's just, we'd like to have it before.
And
So do you have to put that motion in play tonight, just leave an open date, like you need a warrant for this person to meet and then?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Brenda is actually in communication with the other person.
Yep. We'll let her know.
We're in the process.
There you go.
Actually, I've been in communication with both the candidates, in all fairness. They've both been awesomely responsive.
Fresh air.
Yeah.
We are in the process of nailing that down via text message right now.
Do you want to go with November 1?
November 1 would be.
Next Monday, week from today.
I cannot.
You can't.
Can we warn?
If I do Mondays, I'd have to do like early, because I have to be to work for 6.
What time?
Tuesday the 2nd?
I can be here by 4:30.
Tuesday the 2nd would work.
Yeah.
Monday does not work
Tuesday
for me.
works very good.
Yep.
November 2. Make a motion that we hold a special meeting to discuss the treasurer candidates.
Does 6 o'clock work for
6
that?
o'clock works.
Okay. Yep.
Or if you want to go earlier,
Hang on a minute.
check your
No.
bus schedule.
No, it's not my bus schedule. It's parent-teacher conferences with my kids.
You haven't had those yet?
Meet with the candidates that night and discuss the position.
What time did we say? 6?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll be in meetings from 4 to 10 that night.
Is Tim gonna be here tonight?
I believe,
He's
I
on,
believe
it's
it's on.
Catherine's iPad, once you finish your motion.
Excellent.
So motion to meet on Tuesday, November 2nd to discuss the treasurer, interim treasurer position,
Okay.
6 PM.
We have a motion
I'll second it.
and we have a second. All those in favor of holding a meeting November 2nd, 6 PM? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. We do. Tomorrow to meet legalities, right?
Ready for Tim?
Yep, we are ready. Is Tim ready?
Who's Tim?
Mr. Joyle.
Hello, folks. Good evening.
How we doing today, Tim?
Pretty good, and yourself?
Not too bad.
Everybody can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you good, we can't see you so good, but.
Oh,
Can you
well,
change the
if I
screen?
turn it up, it'll just
Can you
be
change the
over,
screen
so-
so we
Yep,
can
no,
see
no
Mr.
worries,
Jones?
as long as
What
we,
you got?
yep, as long as we can hear you, we're happy.
I'm here representing Northwest Vermont Whalers, as you guys know. I just have a few questions. Just to refresh, what was the initial goal of the $10 sticker?
The initial goal of the $10 sticker was to take the fees for riding our roads and be able to put that back into our road system.
Okay, so that brings up my second question. How did that work out? What was the outcome?
I don't have the numbers right here in front of me. Do we have those, Tammy? How many sticker sales did we have to out-of-town residents?
I think we're
That doesn't,
2,500.
that's really nothing to me what you guys made or anything like that, but did you attain your goal? Did you fix any, was there enough to fix the roads, or
Yeah,
could you use more?
with what we got, oh, we could absolutely use more. That's never a question right there. With what we got from the sticker sales, we theoretically were able to purchase loads of gravel to fix, bad corners. We were able to offset the cost of extra time, for greater work that needed to be done on bad corners and roads that were torn up. But quite honestly, Tim, we did not have the complaints about the roads being torn up to the extent that we have in previous years. Now, whether that just be, the fact that it wasn't a good year for riding, or, with the trails closed, nobody wanted to come to Bakersfield, or we weren't on the maps for, the Polaris Ride app. I'm not sure what the factors are, but road damage in the ATV sectors was down.
Yeah, I kinda expected that, cause I mean, once we closed the trailhead, you guys had less influx of ATVs, obviously.
Right.
So I would assume you guys are happy with the outcome and you're gonna do it again next year.
We haven't really
Instead of-
discussed it.
Instead of actually asking this time for the club to maybe do what we can do and.
Honestly, we haven't discussed it.
Yeah, we haven't discussed,
Okay.
we haven't discussed it at this point, and, honestly, if that discussion would probably happen after the new board, in March, so there would be some different faces, different input. It's really hard to say. I would say that, being on the agenda right off in March, April would be your best bet.
April.
Yeah, April, because there's gonna be new faces and new input, so.
Right. So I have one other question, did you guys notice any more, traffic from the west side of 108, since now that Sheldon's open?
I did not notice. I live at
Question.
more traffic from the west side. That side is actually closed.
I realize that, but that doesn't stop people from riding multiple sides.
That's very true.
I am well into the west side on Lawyer Road.
Yep.
It's a direct route from East Fairfield. We haven't had any more, nor any less traffic this year than we've had before.
Okay, I was
and-
just curious, if Sheldon opened the road.
As a general rule, I think the riders have been more respectful this year.
Good. All right, so I guess, I'll get on the agenda for April and we'll take it from there. I appreciate your time.
We appreciate you checking in, Tim.
Thanks.
Folks, have a good winter.
You too,
You
bud.
too.
Bye. I think so. Maybe not.
No, it was the comment that I would have added, and with all due respect to ATVs, is she still here?
No,
No.
go on.
Okay, is that we probably should do a casual survey of the town prior to the
Absolutely.
town meeting. I don't know if that was discussed, and I'd like him to do the same with his group members. What was the effect of not being able to ride in Bakersfield? Probably just lack of choice or throughput to Newport, but they didn't have the bridge either. That was
Right.
out, and,
The Wright's Bridge on
Right.
the far end of East Bakersfield.
yeah, Susan wanted me to
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
hadn't
she
even
backed
thought
into
about
the
that.
door.
That's had to
Into my
affect the
door.
traffic.
Yeah. Good luck ending.
What do you mean?
She hit it pretty hard.
Did she?
It's just a thing, sure.
Hit what?
His truck. She backed out into his truck.
Oh, she did his truck.
Mine
She
or his?
No, the white one, white Dodge.
No.
That's his.
That's,
Oh, never mind then. Never mind. She said, if you notice anything, let her know.
Road report.
I don't think I can top that.
Would you like to be excused for a moment? No? All right.
It
can tell-
won't go anywhere.
I can tell you if it was a silver GMC, I would have needed a minute.
Did you see the look on his face?
Mine? Yeah.
Where'd she go?
Yeah. Luckily, this is all, documented.
Yep, it is. That's why I put it on the record, Josh.
Right, there it is. Luckily
dear
for me, I
Lord.
don't drive a Dodge. Sorry.
Oh, I'm glad you got a good laugh at my expense. Hopefully, there's no expense in tears.
Right?
If there was, Josh, I'm parked behind you, I'll just drive forward.
There you go. Pass it along. We'll play
Where you
bumper
parked,
cars out
Jerry?
here.
Jerry, you parked behind me?
No, I'm over here.
If I swing one, I can get everybody's laughing at me.
From now on, I'm parking at the
I
church.
wish I was parked on that side now.
Here I was thinking, well, I'll pull over there on the far side and be a nice guy. No, next time I'm pulling right up in the front. All right,
So,
the roads.
we have a tire issue on the grader.
Tire issue.
We have 4 of them that either have bunions. Yeah, and one of them is one of the tires we tried to salvage. Not just one of them. That we had Woods change over before. It's got a bunion. And the one behind that has a bunion. It doesn't stick out quite the way the other one does, but it's in the. And then there's one that's got a leak in it, and then there's another one that has several bunions on the way around. So we're looking, I believe, at 6 tires.
At 500 bucks a
500.
piece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends upon what you want us, how long are you gonna keep the grader? 'Cause right
That-
now it has bias and they don't seem to last that long,
Okay.
but the difference between a bias at 736 and a radial at 1235 per tire. I mean, we gotta do something, because if it goes flat on Wednesday, and of course, they don't have them in stock at the moment, so I didn't see what they had for,
Did you see how much is in your repair line?
I did not see that.
Okay, because you can't afford half of one.
Half of them,
Half of one.
half of one,
Half of one.
that's in the,
What are they trying to buy?
They need 4 tires for the grader.
yeah, but that's,
They're
what's in the chicken
like
cow,
the
right?
belts
That
on the
can't be-
sidewall that broke out.
Whatever's going in there is coming out of 10 right now.
Right.
They waited until they got that bad?
That's not what we voted on, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Didn't we have that up to 35?
No, it's okay.
It's in a holding account, it should be in the checking account. We're
Yeah,
not
but it
getting
should be
enough,
done
I've
before
gone
they get to
over
that
before.
point,
We're
then
not
it's a
getting
safety, no
enough
issue.
interest
Right.
Yeah,
for
no
having a
choice.
separate account.
That's why I didn't know, I didn't see it. in there.
700 if we
I
do
looked at Gary's,
bias.
I didn't happen to see
That's
it.
something I'll talk to Vera about tomorrow.
She was gonna work on that, she told me this morning she was gonna work on that.
1,200.
This
So she was
is,
aware of that.
So you're looking at,
Checking.
for the higher grade tires, you're looking at roughly $5,000.
You're talking
Probably
six
6.
tires. So
Oh,
you're
6.
talking about-
Oh, so you'd have to repair all 6. You couldn't,
One of the front ones is the one that's got the gouge and a leak.
okay. But you can't rotate the ones you have, like the one in the back that's good to the 2 to the front, so you have the 2 front ones good, and run the 4 new ones on the back? That way just to prevent having to buy 6.
You probably could.
you know how much wear the front ones get because they go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
The
I'm
one-
purely speaking from a money standpoint. I mean,
No, I understand that. That's why we discovered this last week, and I said, I gotta pass this by the board before I make a decision. I mean, the one that's on the front that's in decent shape, doesn't have a problem, it's down there.
it's down.
I think Mark said it was either 4 or 5 years old, we put the last set of fronts on.
So I guess my question would be, Mac, is can we move that one on the back that's good to the front, get us through till spring, and then order 2 to replace the front ones in the spring to offset, I mean, it may only be a difference of $3,000, but a difference of $3,000 could be a big difference
You
in,
would go with a bias in that case, I'm assuming.
That's-
I don't know if you can mix radials with bias,
okay.
I don't know that.
So I mean, that would only be a difference of 1,400, really.
What's in our,
Well, that's what they were
repair
just
fund?
trying to figure out. It's not necessarily,
That part is.
Documented
I don't think
correctly.
we've gotten that far yet.
I looked, Terry, and they reminded me that is only the balance of the checking account. The rest of the new equipment fund is in a holding account, earning a 0.25% interest or whatever it's getting.
and remember what we did with that is we had 19 in it,
right, I
voted
thought
up
we were
enough to
keeping
get
it
to
at 30.
35.
35?
Correct. So we're just not sure what's remaining of that 35 because we only get the document for what's actually in the checking account under that.
I don't-
Well, have we had, off the top of your head, have we had any major expense?
Not any, not huge expenses. I gotta believe there's 20-ish. And like I said, I think Vera was gonna work on that tomorrow too, because we mentioned it this morning. I mentioned it to her, and she said she hadn't got that far. She was trying to get your reports more ready.
Yep.
Where's the seal?
Building
But I didn't
expense.
see, I mean, I saw a little bit of,
There's some minor expenses, but nothing
some minor
major.
expenses, but that was, yeah.
I just wasn't sure if it was in the actual.
You foresee anything, Mac, in the near future on other equipment, like the trucks? Gotcha.
You don't say that stuff out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The grader's 30 years old.
I'm new here.
20, so I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah.
It's just we're hoping not. That, yeah, the only thing I saw was well, no, actually, they have zero budget.
Yeah, she'll have that information
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, that's where it gets tricky, Matt, because if we do
Oh, I know.
the bias to match,
Yeah,
You-
you're talking $500 a tire.
you're talking $500 a tire less.
Right.
At that rate, you could do all 6. If you're talking the radials, so you get longer last out of them, but you only want to do the 4, to offset. I mean, you're talking the same amount of money.
But the problem is I don't know if you can run the bias.
Right, the bias and the radials.
See, why not? I mean, that thing tops out at what, 25 miles an hour?
If you feel,
If you feel safe.
If you're
going
feeling
that
brave.
fast, Yeah,
there's a little play in the front end, let's put that.
the
way.
little plate in front, okay.
We don't hit 8th gear.
Well, in that case, would it really matter then? I mean, we're basically talking this grading right now.
Right.
You got what,
This-
2 weeks?
This and anything we would do in the winter as far as pushing banks and then
Right.
spring grading, which,
Right.
you know.
And I mean, if we can get through to the first of the year, even if,
Then you'd have a different budget anyway.
right. But I mean, even if that was, one of the first things we say, okay, well, we know we need 2 more radials for the grader, order them up first thing. We're only talking at that point, 2,500
Yeah.
instead of 7,500 to go all,
Even if
or,
it's 3,000,
Yeah.
goes up a little.
I mean, it's a little bit more tolerable than biting off
And I'm
a
not gonna
$8,000 to
tell you-
$10,000 chunk right now.
I'm not sure if that was installed. They're gonna make a road trip up here to do it, so I'm
Right.
not sure how that went. I don't know if that's installed.
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation. I'm one person, we're a board of 4 tonight, so that's my recommendation. Any other input?
Can you make do with the radials?
Can it make do with radios?
Bias.
The bias, I'm sorry.
We
I-
can, but it's just a matter of they haven't been lasting.
Well, they go 3, 4 years.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, if you're gonna keep the grader
I'm guessing the price is-
longer term, it might
Right.
be cheaper to go the other way, but
What were your numbers again, Mac? Bias or 7 something?
736 and radios are
And they got installation.
12 something?
1235 insulation.
So I mean,
Insulation.
Installation.
Oh, installation.
they're almost 2 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, if you buy 4 bias,
Oh, I should have done, but
I don't know, that's a,
that's why I wanted to ask the board the question.
yeah, no, I agree, I
know
just,
It's a chunk.
What's
yeah,
your gut say?
We've never run radios. I don't know. They say you have better traction with radios because there's less pressure in them, more surface area on the road versus the,
But you've never run them on it.
not on that.
Well, I say if we only have a Chevette wallet, then we don't go for the Cadillac.
we'd be, right,
I
And we've already-
hate to, but
we've
I'm
used
I'm
them
gonna
and
have
they've
to
been
say
fine.
let's go with the cheaper tires.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the next question is 6 or 4?
if he's going with a cheaper, he can do all 6, right?
That's my
That
question.
would be,
That's what
I
I
would
would
agree with that
say.
compromise, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Yeah, and if we get 4 years out of them and they gotta go again, I think we're still dang
I won't be
close, dang close to what we would've been if we'd gone with radials.
It'll be Terry's problem
The
then.
three of us won't be here, so.
But that's, yeah, I agree.
That's,
45 for the 6.
yeah,
Okay.
give or take $14.
Yep, I think that's a good idea.
Plus the installation.
Plus, yeah, so it'll probably be,
You'd have installation.
it'll probably be another $1,000
Either way.
for
Yeah.
mounting and balancing and, cause they come up
Do
here
they
with a crane
They
truck.
have to be filled or no?
They don't
uh,
balance.
No,
don't
not
balance
I didn't
those.
mean balanced, I meant mounted and loaded.
Do they load them?
No
No
loaded.
Not loaded?
Okay,
Oh,
well there,
Okay.
that saves us a
oh,
little
that's-
bit.
yeah, that's safe for a bit.
But I bet it's still $1,000 for mounting 6 tires.
Probably. I can't remember what it was. It was cheaper to do what we did before, and the tires look pretty good, but they, yeah.
Yep, alright.
I have a question on the warrants. What, and you might have answered this before for me, but why do we do mark mileage every day?
Because when we're doing the excavator, he brings the signs, he brings the fuel, you know what I mean? We
In his
get-
own truck?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause you can't get the signs out of the back of the big truck. and
Yeah,
back
it's
in.
fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. I just wondered. I saw it on here.
that's done now, so, the excavator, so.
Right, right.
Well, when you're driving school bus, you don't need your GMC, we could use that.
There you go.
True.
Got a cheap rate on that.
Good thing it wasn't my truck with the mileage. Might get a shot. FEMA. You got the bill there for Whitney and the guardrails. Tyler hasn't called into me, but I have not called him yet about the guardrail, the extra guardrail on the water bill. He put the guardrail on the one side and it looks like it needs more on the other side, and he said, my mistake. He offered to pay for the extra guardrail because it was his mistake. He wanted to kinda, I think we can still get FEMA to pay for it. Lance and I have discussed this a little bit. I mean, it might not be in their realm, they might not be able to do it, but
The reason being, it was considered a large contract because it was over $130,000. The 3 jobs combined were considered one job. And the large contracts are actual expense. You have an estimate on the bid, but if circumstances change, FEMA pays.
as he did on Waterville with the extra concrete, because
Yeah.
bad ledge on the.
Although they questioned that.
So and I mean, you're saying Tyler is saying this needs to happen.
Anybody that's been up there,
It needs to happen.
Okay.
because what they end up doing is where the pipes were, he cut a couple trees, which you had to do. So the natural guardrail's not there.
Okay.
I mean, it's as steep as it ever was, but
Right.
nothing. There's nothing there. But as far
There's
as
a big
Whitney
hole
goes,
there.
Yep.
as far
So-
as Whitney goes, he's got that all done, guardrails. Tyler said there was a couple little cleanup things he wanted him to do, but there was nothing.
Okay.
I looked too, I didn't see where it
I was,
needed cleaning
the only
up.
thing I could say is maybe some of the brush up in the woods on that woman's property.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could see.
Did
What
we
is-
get our other guardrail up over here on Waterville by P.E.G's?
We got a funny story there. I went up on Waterville the day that they were putting the guardrail up. Talked to the guys up there while they were putting it up. Asked them about that one. And they said, what are you talking about? I said, well, I've talked to 2 different people down there, and I told them what I wanted. Used guardrail was fine. And, you know, because he had more guardrail in the back of his truck, and he said, well, too bad they didn't tell us about it. We had plenty of time to do it today. So Tyler said Lafayette is coming, Lafayette, yeah.
Yeah.
They're coming again next week. So I'm gonna call them tomorrow and say, make sure you get this
Don't
done.
forget this
Don't
one.
forget the other one.
But one of the guys that was up there actually went down, and I told him, see what I've got marked, if you think it needs to move, anything you need to do, just move it, you know, do what you gotta do. And I guess he did move one stake, and he put ribbons on the stake, so he did stop and see this. But I am gonna make sure that this gets done, because it would have been so much simpler the first time.
Yep.
But if they weren't coming back,
Right.
that was my whole idea with getting it done at once, so you could be a little cheaper, but.
Okay. So that one will get completed. So the one with the FEMA on Waterville Mountain, he says it needs to be done, it's just a matter of who's paying for it, whether it's
Yeah,
FEMA's paying for it or the engineering's.
yeah,
Or if we wanna split it with them, I don't know, from what they gave me for a price for here compared to what was charged up there on a bid price, it's quite a bit cheaper to do it the other way. You know,
Okay.
so I don't think it's a total big thing to him, but, you know, he just asked me the question, and I said I'd pass it along.
So he asked you if he should pay for the whole thing, or if we were willing to
Yeah,
split
he
it with
wanted
you.
to know if I had any input, and again, if
No, I know, that's
if
just,
FEMA is, you know, right now Paul is in, what, London? He went somewhere on vacation on Wednesday, so. last
you
week.
guys
Yeah.
have more time off.
if, my thought is if FEMA will pay for it, we'll take the money from FEMA. But,
If they don't, Tyler will pay for it.
okay,
It's
I mean, we don't really have that budgeted
both
anywhere.
of them, both Whitney Road and what's up at Waterville was 4,500, right?
It's on the warrant.
So-
I haven't seen the warrants yet.
So, I mean,
Coming your way.
I've read
Okay.
it all.
so for what they're adding on is probably not more than $1,000.
I think the whole corner on the corner of Waterville, when he quoted me, was 1,500 maybe. I
Okay.
think, well, it might have been 17, but that was new guardrail installed.
What are they adding, like 75 feet up on
I
Waterville?
don't know if it's that much, I think he said like 50.
Okay.
It was gonna come down as far as that tree, you know, the one tree that's actually
Yep.
still there. And I think he said something about the other side too.
Well, they had a,
Well, I think it
Trees not
definitely,
being
that
around.
thing is,
what's
I
that?
noticed that when I came down there a couple weeks ago,
There's
it's
a-
like, holy
there's
moly, I
a-
wouldn't wanna,
Yeah.
There's quite a hole there
There's a
right
hole.
now.
yeah,
I mean,
You don't
it's
wanna go
better-
down that one.
It
not
looks
as big as
better
it
since
used
the
to be.
leaves are there, it kinda shows you where the lane of traffic is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Before I forget, Mac, the water at the cemetery, have you shut it off yet?
Not yet.
Somebody contacted me last night, said just to remind you.
Oh, somebody always reminds me.
Only because I saw something that said water, did it remind me?
alright. Okay, any others on that?
Sand pile's almost done, probably Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, supposed to be fairly decent, we'll probably get back to see Martin and some reading.
Is the gate being locked?
It did not get shut on Friday because Kurt was
Nope.
up there working at
Okay.
the time, so,
It would actually wasn't Friday that I was questioning.
well, you see, he was up there, so.
Right, no, there's been reports of a little white car and a little red car driving up, shining the fields
Oh, really?
just about, just about
Okay,
Dusk.
Josh,
Yeah.
I got a
Was he
white
driving
car.
instead of your GMC?
It's silver. My wife's car's blue. I do know a guy with a red Dodge though.
And a white dot.
And a white Dodge. But no, these were small cars, seen on multiple occasions going up.
No, there's been somebody that's been doing K-turns in the
You must
meadows.
know who it is because.
Oh, on the edges of the road,
camera
shining.
You do?
No, he does.
Oh, okay. It was just that they were, driving up to where old camp was. And they were like, the gate is supposed
They
to
gonna
be
drive
locked.
that far?
Oh, yeah. Well, to make your headlights shine across the field, yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, if we just wanna make sure on that, I mean,
just have to make sure when we get out of there that Kurt's not up there, they have to lock in there.
all right. And I'm not so sure it's not Kurt going up to work on whatever he's doing up there. It could be equipment and he's
He's got-
shining on the tractors. I don't know. That's what it was reported to me and
He did get a second cut off the lower part this year.
excellent.
If he cuts next year, I don't think it would be a bad idea if he's gonna pay something to ask him for some, and then I don't care if it comes from there, good hay, bad hay, just mulch hay,
Okay.
you know, so we could have some mulch hay that we don't have to buy. Not that we're buying any this year, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be cheaper than straw.
How'd you make out with BJ and Maria's? Did that get
We put a
fixed?
new culvert in there. They had found it, but it was so far below grade on the discharge sign that they had someone played with it and got it open, I guess, with a tractor or something. By the time we raised it up, it was a very small culvert, I think it was 12 inch, and it didn't look good. We just put a new culvert in and had it done.
Yep, yep.
That original quote on that without the guardrails, and it's all rolled into one, was 115, so he did that for less than what was quoted.
Okay, nice.
Did anyone end up getting hold of that lady for the,
Oh, yeah,
Bethany?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm meeting with her either tomorrow or Tuesday. Tuesday or Wednesday, probably tomorrow.
Okay, because when I got the email from the federal folks, I forget that woman's name, but, she emailed me and basically just gave me her contact information, and I was like,
Which ones?
Bethany's.
Bethany's.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, so we're at least going in the right path, we were going the right direction, we
Yeah.
weren't there yet. so.
Yeah, no, they gave us Bethany, and that Jim Ryan did too, the A&R guy,
Okay,
the resource he said.
perfect, so that takes care
Did
of all of
you
that.
get the emails from, that gal that day?
The one you forwarded me,
Yes.
I got some.
Okay. I'll double check, make sure I forward you everything.
There was two of them, right?
There were two of them from her, and I can't remember her name, Renee or, what was it?
It's all blonde.
Yeah, that one.
yes, that is what he said, Cindy.
Warren Weston, maybe?
Lauren Weston, there you go.
Conservation District in Elm, Vermont.
Yep.
That was the same woman,
Got that one.
yeah, that was the same one that emailed me.
And
The blonde, she's,
I wouldn't know, I had never met her.
oh, hell, she's about 3 inches taller than I am.
oh,
Blonde,
and that.
yeah.
And
Okay.
All right, so you're all set, Mike? I got your warrants here for you, for the road commissioner warrants there.
probably forgot something.
Well, if you do, don't hesitate to,
You know where we are.
yep, call Lance. Review of the mail, which we did for the most part, notice of assessment.
I should be able to remember to
This
do that for you, but I
is-
don't, so.
This is this is what was discussed by Vera, the fees.
penalties?
For the penalties, correct. Which is not terrible, but not necessary.
And not the end of them.
Right. Lance, update with Brigham residents.
Okay, the revised budget has been uploaded to the Gears document, what do you call those?
Database?
Yeah, anyhow,
Yep.
it's as bad as the FEMA one, is as difficult to navigate as the FEMA documents, and it's fun.
I agree.
Yeah, that is there. Doug Kennedy is reaching out to me. He wants to talk to me. He wants to talk about the Brigham Academy project, specifically focus on potential residential use for the building. Wondering if there's a good time to meet. I wanted to talk to the board before I gave him an answer in case anybody else wanted to be present.
Yes, please.
What day is good for you?
Call it. Are we talking within the next 10 days?
Yeah, it would be probably this week.
Thursday or Friday?
Thursday?
Yeah.
Let me see if he wanted to call. Yeah, get on the phone, so we can have a conference call with him, 9 o'clock?
Pick it out.
I'll
Yep.
try for 9 o'clock Thursday, I'll let you know.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else?
One side note on Brigham, the broken windows, before they got broken into again, there, I think we counted 10 of them on the second floor, or 8 on the second floor, 2 on the lower floor.
Can we get,
We've been following them.
yep,
It's second floor, it's something you would have to get a lift for. I mean, there's no way you can, I offered to put Dan in the bucket, in the ladder in the bucket, but is he still on?
No,
No, but he signed
there's
on.
3 participants.
He wouldn't
I don't
do
know
it?
over there.
He wouldn't do it.
That's crazy.
I don't see the reason other than glass coming out of the
Why
windows.
can't we do the plastic on the inside to keep just the weather out?
Well, I think that would be the biggest concern, weather and not, I was gonna say, not that we're actually keeping any pigeons out, but.
So wait, it got broken into?
That's what I was told. I did not happen to see the door with the key was still intact, looked like it was, because it was a metal door with a deadbolt type thing. That still looked good, the door that was sighted at them, that we plywooded over with multiple screws, you can see where a lot of screws have been going out. But they weren't all the way out, but they weren't all the way in, but, you know what I mean? The front door looked like they
That
played
is the
with it,
grant.
there was still a.
That is the
wire
revised
across the
budget.
door. So unless they sell it.
Oh, geez, I'm brave,
You should have it.
brave people.
Yeah, I think it's right here.
I was told it needed a new lock and some plywood, but we couldn't find a reason for the lock.
I just gotta read through.
And I don't think there's anything to lock.
Has anyone gone in to see if they did any damage inside?
Technically, they want our approval on it.
I don't think you could tell.
It's gotten pretty bad.
It's pretty bad
There
in
was a
there.
lot of glass on the outside that came in from, must be through something through the window stop or something.
From the inside out, you mean?
Must be.
And which brings up another thing. We're gonna have to talk to Rhoda, the principal at the school, and they're gonna have to get their stuff out of there.
Or risk it being stolen. I mean,
No, if we're gonna continue with this project for Brigham, it needs
Oh,
to be
yeah.
removed.
yep. Yep. Right now, Mac, yeah, if you wanna get plywood to do the first floor, we'd appreciate that. Screw those up, tighten up the ones that are there.
What do you want to do? I don't want to put plywood on the inside.
I mean, at this point, yeah. What do you think? I mean, we're not gonna keep the glass from falling out, but at least at this point, keep the kids from maybe, it's not gonna keep
They're
them.
still gonna smash what glass is left.
It's not gonna prevent anything really, except for,
Weather and animals.
yeah, in the second floor, it won't even really prevent the animals. I mean, the
Pigeons.
pigeons are what's causing 90% of the issues in there. Yeah, I mean, take account. I don't know what a sheet of plywood's going for now, but
Plus I say, I mean,
Well, I don't think I'd do plywood, I'd do that cheap stuff. Plywood's pretty bad.
See the 3/8 T111, I just bought some, it was like $56 a sheet. Yeah.
that's the cheap stuff?
That was the cheap stuff, that's the press board, what do they call it, molded?
Oh, CDX.
No, this is the fibers, chipboard stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, plywood is,
Basically,
How about
whatever you can
contractor's
get.
back?
do you think plastic would work in it? You put some,
Well, no, it's not
No.
gonna stop a rock.
no.
I understand, they're not
I mean-
throwing the rock this way.
You mean for the upstairs, to block stuff from coming? If that's the case, let me talk to my father, because I know I can get a roll of poly. I probably have one at my house. And that's just 8 mil, we can double it up, staple it to the windows, you know, yeah, keep the weather and the birds, some of them, and out. I mean, they're still gonna go in. But I think the downstairs ones definitely need to be plywooded or
Yeah, because it-
whatever we can get cheap. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's
Pine
just,
boards. Pine boards.
there you go. I know where you can get some.
yeah, that would be my opinion. Whatever's
Yeah.
cheapest to cover it up.
Okay.
Anything else?
The
Oh,
place
excuse
will be
me.
going up in smoke if kids are going in there.
Oh, it's 30 years now that I know of people have been breaking in and out of there and it hasn't burned up yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, through the VLCT as a town building, not for a huge amount, but, yeah.
Lance, do you know if that's is that on the historic register?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes.
and you talked-
Absolutely.
And Vermont Preservation Trust has been
Yes.
Yep.
involved, okay.
ARPA.
Way back.
Yep.
ARPA is, the money's in the bank earning interest.
Perfect.
No change from the last
No
time.
change from the last time.
Excellent.
Bill Irwin and I attended a conference on ARPA funds, and we now have 66 categories of things we can spend these on and still be within the boundaries of what they have set up so far for guidelines. Interestingly enough, we can pay for our network security system that we just did here for all the computers in town. We're gonna have to figure out an application method so that we can account for it properly, and I'm working with Vera to do that.
I know at one time we spoke about looking into making the upstairs handicap accessible.
One of the things that ARPA was very clear on is it has to be something that is the result directly or indirectly of COVID. So we have to
That's
write,
not going
So those
to.
people that have respiratory problems now and can't do the flight of stairs because they had COVID?
Probably not.
No, all right, it was
Probably
worth a
not.
try.
however, there are other things that are available, and I'm finding out more and more. I have contacted a grant writer who works specifically with historical buildings and dwellings, and is excited about the store project that we're doing, but also what might be able to be done here. So we'll look into that and update you when I can. That's pretty much it. We're going to start in November. Kate Buckley will be doing online meetings that will be recorded and stored in YouTube. So if people want to refer to them, they can say, oh, so that's what we're doing with ARPA. And there's also somebody else, and she's from the Northwest Regional Planning, that I have to get in touch with. You've mentioned her before, Lance, and she's
Kathy Lavoy.
Kathy Lavoy,
Yeah.
and there was another woman as well. So I, I'm gonna get with Bill Irwin and say, what did you pull out of that meeting? What did you get? And he asked some good questions as well, so, we'll confab, and maybe he'll come in and talk, as well, because I think some of the stuff goes hand in hand with projects that he would be interested in.
Awesome. Zoning?
Yeah, I wanted to read to you what I'm gonna put out for zoning amnesty. I actually will send you this, but I wanted some comments from you guys to go forward. Give me a second.
Can you forward that to me?
Yes, I will. It's in my email.
Which one was that? Oops.
2 fingers. This is the one.
As I mentioned in the last select board, I proposed zoning amnesty for folks in the town of Bakersfield who may have forgotten to get that zoning permit or change of use permit to be in compliance with our current zoning bylaws and regulations. So that said, anyone who should have applied for a permit and didn't, whether you forgot, let it slip, thought you didn't need one, or just keep putting it off, please see me on Tuesdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. or email me at Bakersfield Zoning or call me at home. I'm happy to talk to you. Again, zoning amnesty is a grace period to get properly permitted in the town of Bakersfield. It will run from November 1 to December 31st, 2021. We will not impose penalties by law that could be twice the regular fee or fines that we might otherwise collect. We really do know who you are, so do the right thing, please. So,
Any suggestions?
people have been turning in people left and
How
right.
did you know?
Huh?
How did you know?
Oh, people, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, neighbors have been ratting out neighbors ever
Yep.
since I've been sitting at that desk, so.
Yep.
Did you know
Yep.
so-and-so lives in that camp year-round? No, not specifically,
No.
but I do now. Also, the fella in question up the road there, up past
Mhm.
Denton, has a for sale sign on that property now. And had brought in some more gravel.
excellent. So that one, yeah, that one's definitely one that needs to be, that one must be top of the hit list.
It is.
Well, they can't sell it without an access permit, so.
He's hosed. He's definitely hosed on this one.
Perfect.
I don't think any bank will look
Well, he
at-
can sell it as a camp.
There's no dwelling. There's nothing on it. He's
Oh,
got-
it's just land?
He has 4 big concrete blocks and probably, 20 $20,000 worth of gravel in there now? At least.
I haven't seen that one. That one's way up.
You gotta go, yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost to the top.
Yep.
So the problem is you can't get an access permit for it?
He hasn't applied.
Hasn't applied. Or if he's applied and he hasn't got a survey in because he's overrun boundaries and pushed dirt onto other people's property and changed drainage. And this is in the conservation district. This is way up there.
Is that in the, that's the 20 acre zone, right?
Yeah,
Does he even have 20 acres?
no,
Okay, I didn't think so.
Alright. Thanks for the update on that, and that'll be posted.
yeah, as long as it flies with, League of Cities and Towns, I asked him for the legality of that. I'll show him what I'm printing and make sure that it's within the purview of the zoning administrator to be able to do that. But I want to go in like this week.
And we're gonna post that in the same, cause it has to be posted in the 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna get printed, I'm gonna put it in the front page forum, I'm gonna use the, social media forums that we have available, and I'll also get it on the town webpage.
Perfect.
So, we'll cover all our bases, and then we'll start shaking people down in January. Pardon me, not shaking people down, start going after folks who have not complied.
Alright. Inside, outside audit. Inside audit's being done for January, February. Outside audit is, we've
We don't
established
have a
that we have to
quote
put
yet.
that before the voters. So we need to make sure that that makes the ballot for March.
Right.
Set future agenda.
Audit, I was asked to contact Wanda to see if she'd be interested in doing that. She cannot do it.
Wanda, for,
Audit for what?
which audit? Yeah.
The one from March till October.
That's the big one, right?
Yep.
We have Joy Doan and.
Yeah, I know we do, but you asked me to call and ask,
okay.
and I asked.
Okay, oh, okay. I thought you were referring to the outside audit for company.
Yes.
So do
That
we-
too.
when-
She's not
we'll-
interested in
must be,
either.
we'll get a report from Jason from the January to whatever date Abby was done, March?
February, end of February.
February.
Yep.
So January,
That was for
February,
inside or outside?
we
It
get
was
that
for both.
report, right?
I don't know if we'll get a report. I think we would only get a report if he finds anything awry.
Okay.
If there's nothing awry, he'd have nothing to report except for it's good. And I
And
think
then
that
you're
could be
doing the
covered in an email.
February to now.
Which him and
In
Joy are
November.
working together in
And I
November to get done.
Don't have
And
that slip
then
paper, it's on
And
my
her
desk.
last day is Friday or,
Friday,
Yeah.
correct.
Right,
The-
of
yes,
this
the
week.
29th.
Because we still need someone for the outside audit.
Right, so if we have anybody, those do have to be firms. And we need to get
I have
Three quotes.
I have a
or
possibility,
3
but I,
bids. Jason's firm said they couldn't do it because of Jason being
an auditor
an
here?
auditor here. So, you said
So
you
we
have
still
one,
have
or have
KBS.
a lead on one?
Wanda Cochran gave me a lead on someone.
Excellent.
But I neglected to bring that sheet of paper with me, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Let me also inquire to the League of Cities and Towns and see if they've got,
Absolutely. Yeah, because if we can get 3 bids on that, that'll give us a number that we can put before the voters
I'm
in
sure
March.
KBS will put a bid in.
Yep. Which is great. I think the more bids, the better, to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
because it's more likely to get a little bit of competition, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? Oh, okay, all right, yeah, I see now, I'm sorry. I was like, hey, just kind of came in, sat down, that's,
Oh, where'd she come from?
yep. Scared me a little bit, I was like, oh.
she's other.
Other, yeah. All right, set future agenda. Does anybody have anything pressing that we need to discuss at the next meeting?
Other than giving updates on everything we've just reviewed?
Right.
Obviously, at that point, we would, I would hope that we can make a meeting, or make a decision at our meeting to appoint a treasurer for the next meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure that we have treasurer appointed. or whatever.
Yeah, and I will, this is the only copy I think Maria has of her resume. So I'm gonna put these in my zoning administrator box, or you want them back in letters?
That's, either or.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, probably ought to keep it with the new mail, if that way
Alright.
zoning and select is separate, just,
Yep.
you know.
Mixing, matching, not good.
Any
The listers want to do minutes, I believe.
lucky for them, you make the agenda.
I know. Listers is somebody, they're bringing somebody.
It's
That's-
complaining.
It's in the car.
Should be fun. That's the next
They're
one.
bringing somebody with a complaint?
No,
No,
Or-
I think it has to do with what they need to do. I can't remember. It's in the file.
lucky, it's not until the next one anyway. If we talk about it now, it's on this agenda and that doesn't
Yeah.
work. Well, we're short one guy and this is his part.
So
Oh, when-
okay.
as
did
soon as
Kathy
we
say
appoint
the,
somebody, Vera wants to be done. She definitely does
She
not want to
said
stay on even
She
like
does
2
not want to
weeks.
stay on. She said that she would do a simple explanation
Right,
and be there for questions. She does not want to be in here to train, per se. There were other.
so we're gonna go on this blindfolded again.
To an extent. I don't, Vera also said that she does not want to have to do this again, what is happening right now, so she is willing to
I don't know
help
if we
out.
could get her to do just 2 weeks to
Oh.
show the programs,
Well, and that's,
you know.
I,
Still have to be here just to,
yeah,
what she's cleaning up.
yeah.
right.
And what, I asked her that, and she said, and she laughed at me, which I deserved, because she said, 2 weeks. She goes, this is a job that requires over a year of training.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm
I'm
sure.
not, I was like, that's when I told her, I said, quite honestly, Vera, I said, you're speaking to a guy that knows forestry. When you start speaking, and she started throwing out all sorts of, and I was like, you're speaking a foreign language to me right now. And she said, you know, things only happen once a year, and that's the hard part. So I do believe in order to not have this event happen again, she is willing to answer questions, but not willing to come in and sit with and train.
So we should think about what we're gonna do for training for that person,
Absolutely.
so we're not in this mess again.
Right.
grievance hearing, when is that? Kathy said that she had at least one?
She did not have a date yet that I am aware of.
Okay,
A grievance hearing?
Not before civil authority.
Tax-
yes,
Tax grievance.
yeah,
Tax grievance for some concerns, issues that happened. Again, that'll all be discussed during that meeting. I don't think it's
Are they
something,
too late for a tax
Yes.
grievance?
well, it has something to do with timelines and stuff like that. She started going into it, but she was like, this is all stuff that has to be discussed at that meeting, so.
it
I
has
can't-
to be warned.
Right, exactly, so technically we can't talk about that.
Oh, we can talk about when the meeting was, I didn't
Right.
know if the time
Nope.
had been set yet.
Nope, I don't believe, she did not give me a date and a time, but I'm
Okay.
sure that'll come out.
We can't name names or discuss what.
Right, so. At this time, I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
You have a question?
Wait,
Okay,
Okay, hang on, we have a question.
back up, don't vote yet.
your others.
Others.
The, next two are very close to the, yes. You have
Asked
the
and
answer?
answered. Yep.
I don't have a question. Have a good night.
Okay. Motion's been made, seconded. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a good night, everybody.